I have to have this. Oops. Sorry, everybody. Good morning. I have to fix. I think it's the problem of having. It's just not. It just doesn't want to stay. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing swell. La la la. Good morning. Oh my god. Too many dicks on the dance floor. Too many dicks. There we go. There we go. There we go. Good morning. Good morning, young lovers, wherever you are. I feel like a death this morning. I have those. I have that. I have that. You know how. You know how when you're sneezing. Yes, you did, girl. You did. You're first. You're it. You win. Let's have a What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't think my camera's right. Oh man, I never do all the stuff I'm supposed to do. Ugh. Anyway, good morning. It's kind of bright, isn't it? Let me see if I can. I don't know. It doesn't seem right. I see the top of my head. There we go. There we go. There we go, and there we go, and there we go. Anyway, I have that kind of allergy, itchy back of your throat, sneezing, but like the painful sneezes, you know? You know what I'm talking about? Like the really violent sneezes. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning. I'm going to move the little thing over here because I can't see everybody. There we go. Good morning. That's so much better. Anyway, you know how your eyeballs feel furry? You know when your eyeballs feel furry and all that? That's kind of where I'm at right now. Turn my fan down a little bit. Hi, Neil. Good morning. Bonjour. Bonjour. So I'm, yeah. 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 Anyway, good morning. And, I don't know what's good. Today's Thursday. That's good. That feels like progress, doesn't it? It's my head itch. Ugh. I'm just itchy. I'm just itchy, itchy, itchy this morning. It's gross. I don't like it. I don't like it. Before someone sneezes, say, who's your favorite Wookiee? Wait, there's only one Wookiee, isn't there? Have we ever seen multiple Wookiees in a Star Wars movie before? Are there multiple Wookiees? I don't know. I don't really know. Ah. Oh my god, I wish Max was here. She might be here later, but I did the Wordle yesterday in 3. Sometimes having a mixed up brain actually works. So, oh my god, California has, I was reading The New York Times. California became a new center of political corruption. What the fuck? I hate people. I really fucking do. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I think people are whack. People are wacky tacky. Wacky tacky. Trump videos at Arlington stir more fallout after gravesite visit. It's messy. I don't know. Fuck around and find out, I guess. That's kind of how I would describe that story. And of course, it's fine with everybody who supports Trump. The thing about it is we can be shocked all we want about, or whatever. You can have whatever kind of reaction you want to what Trump does, but the bottom line is this: his people don't give a shit. They just don't care. It's the bottom line. Actually, it's a feature, not a bug with them. They prefer the sneeze chewy. And then sneeze chewy. Oh, I get it. Oh my God, that's so cute. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do that before. Because isn't Chewbacca really the only Wookiee? Isn't he kind of the only one? I mean, isn't that like part of the storyline or the lore? Is that he's like the last one or something? I don't know. I don't really know. I think I'm coming down with something. When was I around a lot of people? I went to the library. There were people there. I didn't really go anywhere where there were a lot of people. Hi, Jen Mai. Good morning. How are you? How are you? How are you? Oh, is today Patrick Byrne's space? I would like to. I almost had Patrick Byrne talking to me, but then Gal came in and said stuff that made him mad. At 6 p.m. Eastern. Cool. I can't wait. I know, I need more coffee too. I enjoy. Well, actually, if he's hosting, I can't even listen to the space. I have a sock though. It's kind of a dumb sock, and I can listen to it that one, I guess. Oh my God, my eyes are itchy. You know when your eyes are itchy? Oh, bad. I don't like it. I think America Project. Oh, I think they blocked me too. Maybe not. He definitely has me blocked, but which I don't think he should. I don't think he should. America Project. Oh, you know what? I think they did block me. Oops. Oops, I did it again. I played with your heart. Got lost in the game. Oh, baby, baby. Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm not blocked. I'm not blocked. Here we go. I'll set a reminder even. Maybe I'll even follow the America Project. That. So I can remember who they are. Patrick Byrne here we go. Patrick Byrne tells all. J6, what really happened? We're thrilled to invite you to an exclusive event featuring Patrick Byrne, the renowned entrepreneur and former CEO of Overstock.com, who will be discussing what really happened on January 6th. Oh, I'm going to clip that. That's hilarious. Hi, Overstock. How do you feel about your former CEO using your name in relation to treason? Oh, isn't that lovely? Isn't that just lovely? Let's see. Oh, here we go. U.S. Helsinki Commission. Thank you, Carla, for sharing a post this morning. We welcome the Treasury Department's decision to close off crucial pathways for Russian money laundering and sanctions evasion through real estate and private equity. This is a story out of... oh, wait. That is big. The U.S. Helsinki Commission. I gotta follow them, too. I don't even know what those are. The U.S. Helsinki Commission monitors human human rights and international cooperation in the 57 countries of the OSCE. Interesting. Well, wait, I gotta do this one thing. Hold on. I gotta post something. It's really funny. Hi. Oh, whoops. Oh, stop. Whoops. Overstock. How? Oops. How does it feel to be the company of a trader who is planning sedition against his country, gave intelligence. Well, no, I guess he didn't because he's not intelligent. I'm really mad. I'm really mad. I'm gonna start being really mean. Okay. Yeah. It's huge. Treasury Department's decision to close off crucial pathways to Russian money laundering and sanctions evasion through real estate and private equity. Thank you so much, Carla. Thank you for that. Let me see if I can. That's really good. I feel like there have been some really amazing moves. Some really amazing moves by the Treasury and by the DOJ and other things to kind of shut down, different international crime rings and things like that. But why can't they get the planners of J6? And I realize that the planners of J6 actually distributed the work product so much that it's hard to pin the entire crime on one person, right? I think that's the challenge with what we're looking at, which is sedition. I'll look for an. Oh, thank you, Carla. You're so nice. There goes drums cheating. Uh-oh, is DJT not doing well this morning? Shall we try? Let's try and see what's happening. Oh, wait. What is Scott Mack meeting about?
And I hear the conversation.
Oh, it's a fraud case. Yeah, it's a fraud case. It's not. It's not a J6 case. Yeah, I am I'm sorry. I'm really into like the planners. I'm into like, let's get all the people who plan this piece of crap thing. Typical mob behavior, get the underlings to do the dirty work. And you know what it is? They spread it out, right? So Mike Flynn has a little piece about, I'm going to give you advice to take the machines back and rerun the election. That's going to be his advice. Well, it's just advice. What's wrong with that? And, I don't know. I want us to be a smarter set of people. I want us to be a set of people that we can move through the nonsense, which I realize for some people, they feel if they win on the nonsense, they've won the entire argument. I'm sorry, my eyes are crying. I'm crying. So, I think that's what I'm so sick of. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. Oh my god, my entire face itches. Wouldn't use the words election was stolen, then was asked about the January 5th and 6th meetings, pled the 5th. Yeah. Mike Flynn kept pleading the 5th. Yeah, he did. He did. And I again, this is, any one of these individuals is not capable. I'm not saying that there are even masterminds. There's people who have ideas, like John Eastman had an idea, and he pursued that idea. Cheesebro, I'm really confused about Kenneth Cheesebro because I see he's in all these cases, obviously, and was really kind of like the organizer of a lot of the activity. And yet he can just kind of walk away and go back to his house in Puerto Rico? How does that happen? How does he keep his license? I think it's time for more people to stand up and say, why is this happening? Why is it still happening? I'm still waiting for him to face sanctions on the Michigan AG office. Yeah. Oh, bye, Neil. See you later. Have a great one. Thanks for coming. Good morning, Oomph. How are you? Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of what I think. I just kind of wonder, when do we just start kind of dealing with kind of the realities? Phil Klein just sitting. I know, Jen. I know. Phil Klein. What's that other guy's name? The guy in. Well, is that the guy in Texas? There's another guy in Texas. And just all these people who, I want to know. I don't know. Never mind. I feel like I say the same things over again every day. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make myself a joint. That's what I'm going to do. I got these cute little joint papers that, because I'm not good at rolling. I can't roll. I'm not a roller. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. We need a weed cam. We need a weed cam. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We need a weed cam. You know what I like, though? I like the act of, filling a cone with weed. I like that act that you have to be, intentional about it. And, you can't do too much at once. I think that's really, a cool, peaceful activity. And I think these little pre-made cones are going to change my life because I haven't used them before, actually. I'm not as cool as you think I am. But they have these little sticks. Have you seen? I mean, you guys have all seen this, obviously. Oops, I just kind of fucked it up now. I'm getting all confident. Oh, fuck, I really fucked it up. There's too big a piece in there. And you have to be, gentle with them. Here, we're going to do a little... Oh, okay, Jen. I'll see you later. Bong it. Yep. Yep. Yeah, have a good day, Jen. Jen, my. Jen, my. Jen, my. Oh, yeah, I've got a big hole here. That's unacceptable. Ah! Well, this is the worst one I've done so far. How embarrassing. I think this one's dumb because I fucked this up. Oh, there we go. Just be patient. See, I wasn't patient. And that's what happened is I wasn't patient. Look, I'm going to make this little. I love this. Just little tiny bits. Ah, I like the smell too. I like weed better than vapes. I like flower better than vapes, for sure. I mean, that goes without saying. Vapes to me are just like convenience. Oh man, I keep fucking that up. Yeah. Oh man, it's got a little gap in it. Mm-hmm. 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 I don't know if there's anything on. Is there anything on? I don't even know. Ma, 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 ma. Oh boy, Andrew Tate's in trouble, huh? Oh, and then that let's see, I had something for some story about the Telegram guy I was going to listen to. Bow, 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 bow. Mm-hmm. 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 Bump. Bump, 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 bump.
French prosecutors released
Wait, don't do it, please. Oh wait, what? Oh, that's that old thing. Bum 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 bum. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. La France. Oui, oui, pipi. Oui, oui, pipi. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Bump. Little tiny story about this head of Telegram that's been picked up by French authorities.
Telegram CEO Pavel Durov from police custody on Wednesday after 4 days of questioning over allegations that the messaging app is being used for illegal activities. He later appeared in court to face charges and has been barred from leaving the country. Durov was detained on Saturday at an airport outside of Paris. Allegations against the Russian-born Durov, who is a French citizen, include that his platform is being used for child sexual abuse material and drug trafficking, and that Telegram has refused to share information with investigators when required by law. Durov's arrest in France has caused outrage in Russia, with some government officials calling it politically motivated and proof of the West's double standards on freedom of speech.
Really?
Запад, видимо, не увидел главного, что конкретные действия Парижа по задержанию, а теперь я не видела этой информации, видимо, она только что пришла. Вы говорите, информация об аресте была, а теперь и аресте основателя Телеграм Павла Дурова вызвало шок во всем мире. Эта история не только про реакцию России. Мы отреагировали так, как и обязаны были отреагировать российские дипломаты в данном случае, когда речь шла о задержании российского гражданина.
The outcry has raised eyebrows among Kremlin critics because in 2018, Russian authorities themselves tried to block the Telegram app, but failed, withdrawing the ban in 2020. Telegram is an encrypted chat platform, but that means only the people receiving and sending the messages can see the contents. Because of this, experts say that it opens up Telegram to illegal activities such as money laundering and drug trafficking.
Okay. Fine. So wait a minute. You're telling me that the Russian government couldn't shut down Telegram? Really? They gave up. Really? Is that how it happened? Wow. How very Russian. How very Russian of them. Wow, I don't believe that one at all, actually. You know, a lot of people just want to protect other people that do bad things. But how can we get compromat now? We have big said. It's true. What a big said. There, see? There's my perfect little joint. Not very perfect because I think I've got a little gap in the middle there. Oh, my God. Why do my eyes itch so much? Anyway. So that's Pavel. Pavel Durov. Pavel Durov, great Russian son. Great son of Russia. Amazing young man. Make Mother Russia very proud. Uh-oh. Where's my... Uh-oh. God, I lose everything. I lose everything all the time, everywhere, all at once. What the fuck did I do with that? I had this lighter all night last night. Well, this will be sad. This will make me sad. This will make me very sad. All right. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Who's hiding it? You know what? I think the cats knocked it down. Shit. Nothing, but I've had this thing in here for a long time. And, ooh, what happened? Oh, gross. Oh, man. All right. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. Okay. All right. Now you can panic. I have 8 million lighters. Well, apparently not. Apparently I don't. But how do we get compromise? Oh, that's right. Anyway. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Where's my goddamn fucking thing? Okay, well, plan B. Plan B. That's all. Plan B. That's all. Fuck. Plan B. I wonder where it went. Wonder where it went. La 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 la. Oops. Hey, guess what? I found it. It was on the floor. You know what? Patience, kids. Hi, Easily. It isn't white, is it? A lot of stoners believe that white Bic lighters are bad luck. I don't think I've ever had a white I don't think I've even seen a white Bic lighter. No, it's this little flamethrower, actually. I love it. I love it. Little torch. Try not to set my thing on fire. Here's one. 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 How do we get compromise on all of our friends? Oh man, I don't know how to do this well. I think this is the gap problem. Bad luck. I suppose it would be. I don't know why. Why would it be bad luck? I don't even know. But I dig these little cones. What a great invention. They didn't have those in the 80s. I really dig that. Yeah. Well, or smoking. You don't know what tobacco this is. You have no idea. You have no idea. Well, it is waking and baking. White ones usually have a wrapping around it. Oh. 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 Yeah. This is it. This is the waking and the baking. I'm telling you. That's the wacky kind. I'm telling you that, well, it's legal in my state. I don't know about you, but it's legal here. Listen. I watched a woman yesterday who, when she gets mad at people, she threatens to use the N-word. I listened to a guy talking about how a woman can't be president because they're too emotional. Oh, a pickle lighter. I love pickle lighters. I like pickle lighter. Pickle lighter would be great. I think me reading original documents, sharing my opinions about everybody needing rights, and showing congressional hearings, I think probably smoking weed is not the biggest sin on the internet. And you know what? If that woman fired up her live right now, she'd have like 50 people watching. I shit you not. And I totally understand the train wreck viewing. Stop watching that drunk ignorant. I know. I know. Well, I don't stay. I don't stay. She's really horrible. She is really horrible. But, oh, just some drunk racist. You know how there's a bunch of drunk racists that have their own YouTube shows, you know? They're not really shows. They're just, they fire up their phone and they drink and they talk into it and they make, they make a lot of jokes. I was afraid to say no to the pickle lighter like I just joined a club. Carla, you were intimidated at the weed shop. But it sounds like the weed shop really accepted you. It sounds like they actually were inviting you in to be part of their crew, if you will. I think that's amazing. I think that's totally amazing. It's a game for two. Wake up to make up. I don't know what. Break up to make up. That's what it is. Then I was singing last night. I was singing. Oh shit! What was I singing? Because it has a really good, like, a fun, like, run of melody. What is it? Something about storms. It wasn't stormy weather though. It was. Oh man. When Sunny gets blue. That's what it is. When Sunny gets blue. Her eyes get gray and cloudy. Yeah, what Max said. I know. Well, okay, I could say a couple things about other people watch, but I don't say anything about that. But yeah, I should stop. I know, right? It's a nice one. I'm telling you, these little papers are really so convenient. Now, there is a little gap there. I'm a little worried about that, but should be okay. That's all we do. Yeah, I think I much prefer this. I think I much prefer the flower. My one stop a town. That's amazing, Paul J. That's like amazing. I love that. I love that for you. I mean, those are priorities, right? Like, that's a priority. I think that's a good one. So I did a little gaming yesterday. I don't know if you guys caught the surprise gaming session I did. I had fun. We did some fishing in my new favorite fishing game. Fallout is super gory, but the music is awesome. Do you mean the show or the game, Carla? Oh man, this is the problem with me and joints, though. Do you mean the show or the game? But yeah, I love this. This fishing game is so cool. I've really cut way back on the hate watching. I'm proud of you, Max. You have always been really good at, like, holding back. I'm proud of you. You're my role model. Burning down the house. I'm not. Fallout the show. Okay, so listen, Carla. I tried. And I really wanted to watch it, but then one of the first scenes where that woman puts her boot on, I can't. And that did it for me. That absolutely did me in. I couldn't handle it. But I'm now I want to listen. Maybe there's a thing about maybe I could listen to the music somewhere else. But yeah, this fishing game is really fun. I really enjoy it. All right, let me see what else is happening in the news. Because I would like to know what's happening in the news. Oh, you know what I wanted to read? Wait, there was something else I wanted to read. Hold on. Where's my fucker? Okay. This is what I wanted to read. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Damn it. I want to. Oh, is this? Okay, great. Actually, this is what I want to read. All right, hold on. I'm gonna read something to you right now. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Yeah, I was singing When Sunny Gets Blue. When Sunny Gets Blue. Okay. Excuse me, campfire. We need you to move out of the way, please. Thank you very much. I don't know where the fucking cats are. All right, I'm very disappointed in them. I'm just gonna say. Super disappointed. Super disappointed. Wait, where's my campfire? Okay. You know what the other thing I like about weed, flower, is that flower gets me higher than vape. I hardly feel vape at all. I'm gonna be honest. All right. Hold on, everybody. Let's move the kitty, the non-kitty up there. Whatever. Then let's look at this. And we're gonna go ahead and look at this. And then whoops. That's not it. Okay, here we go. This is, so Mueller, she wrote, Allison Gill, did a side-by-side with the old indictment and the new indictment. And stop me if this is, like, super boring, like you don't want to talk about it. Hey, Lee, I'm popping in to ask for positive energy and thoughts. I'm fine, but a close friend is in bad condition. Need the lounge. Oh, yes, absolutely, Lee. Oh, I am sending you so much love right now. Let me know if there's anything I can do. Send me a text or something, okay? Yeah. Oh, Lee, I'll be thinking about you and your friend. Definitely lifting them up. Wow. Sorry about that. Max, I do want to do that. I need the little canister. I have a dab rig, but I need the canister for flour to use because right now I just have one for shatter. You're welcome, babe. Yeah, no, let me know, okay? If there's anything I can do, I mean, there's probably nothing I can do, but, you know, I'll be thinking about you. So, let us know. Power of the lounge, unite. I don't know. That's what I'm going to do. That's our sign. That's our superhero sign now. Even though we don't have superpowers. Okay. So Mueller, she wrote, Allison Gill, did a side-by-side between the old indictment and the new indictment. And again, stop me if this is like so boring that, you know, there's no way you want to listen to it. Or maybe you just need something in the background and that this is going to work out just fine. Let's hope that's the case. Okay, hold on. Let me switch some things around here. Do. Okay, perfect. And then maybe a little more perfect there. Extra perfect. Okay. All right. So, Trump superseding indictment. Special counsel Jack Smith has issued a superseding indictment in the federal January 6 case. Let's look at what's different. Children of Guay. That's right. Children of Guay, unite. Send positive energy to Michigan. All right. Hello. Big day for justice as Jack Smith has filed a new superseding indictment in the D.C. case against Donald. He asked for an extension to respond to Judge Chutkan's order, and he had until August 30th, so he's a few days early. A lot of folks were speculating that Jack Smith asked for more time because Merrick Garland was slowing him down, and now we know that wasn't the case. As I said during the Jack podcast, he was likely figuring out how to retool the indictment to be in compliance with both the new Supreme Court rulings on immunity and the narrowing of the obstruction law, and that he needed to speak to the Solicitor General to ensure that he has enough left to go forward with the case. Jack Smith didn't just retool the indictment, he went to a new grand jury and secured a superseding indictment. Oh, in an actual vaporizer. Yeah, but that's the thing, Paul, is that there's There's a canister that I can put in my dab rig that is for flour. It's like, I don't know if it's metal or what it is. But yeah, in an actual vaporizer. I don't know what that means, but maybe that's the same thing. Anyway. The 4 original charges are the same, but the evidence and language has changed a bit. So what's below is the original indictment, and I'll cross out what's been removed, and I'll add in bold what's new. Then I'll annotate why the change was likely made in italics inside brackets. Well, we'll try and lead you through this. So let's get started. In number 1, defendant Donald Trump was a candidate. So it's focusing on the candidate versus the president of the United States. He lost the election. And she says, "You've heard me say it 1,000 times. It's important to underscore that Donald was acting as a candidate for president and not in the scope of his duties as president. That means no presidential immunity would apply. So Jack Smith is making that clear here." And we noticed that he was really doing that throughout the entire indictment. And so Jack added, despite having lost, the defendant adding, who was also the incumbent president, was determined to remain in power. Allison says it's important to note that he happened to be the incumbent president while emphasizing he was a candidate. So for more than 2 months following Election Day on November 3rd, 2020, the defendant spread lies that there had been outcome determinative fraud in the election and that he had actually won. These claims were false, and the defendant knew that they were false, but the defendant, quote, new language, used his campaign to repeatedly and widely disseminated them anyway to make his knowingly false claims appear legitimate. Let's see. Parenthetically, she says, "I love this change that he used his campaign." Again, that ever important point that he was a citizen campaigning for president with no immunity who also happened to be the incumbent president. I wonder if is that a legal, I mean, I'm not questioning. I'm just asking, is that an actual legal approach to say that by establishing that fact? I know that the actions could be tied to the campaigning, but it's interesting. Sorry, I'm not feeling great, so that's why my voice sounds really worse than usual, maybe. As a candidate and citizen is new language. Again, she says, driving home the point, that he did this in his capacity as a candidate and a citizen, neither of which are entitled to any immunity. And then they left the rest of that section the same. The defendant had a right, like every American, to speak publicly about the election and to even claim falsely that there had been outcome determinative fraud. Number 4, let's see, it looks like it stayed the same. Shortly after Election Day, the defendant also pursued unlawful means of discounting legitimate votes and subverting the election results. In so doing, he perpetrated 3 criminal conspiracies. Looks like the conspiracies remain the same. Conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to corruptly obstruct and impede the January 6th congressional proceeding, a conspiracy against the right to vote and to have one's vote counted. And I didn't know if that last one was on the original. I mean, it obviously was, but I hadn't remembered that. And then it says each of these conspiracies, which built on the widespread mistrust the defendant was creating through pervasive and destabilizing lies about election fraud, targeted a bedrock function of the United States federal government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election. So they, in count 1, it looks like they added the first sentence, "In furtherance of these conspiracies, the defendant tried but failed to enlist the vice president, who was also the defendant's running mate, and by virtue of the Constitution, the president of the Senate, who plays a ceremonial role in the January 6th certification proceeding." So Allison says, wow, this is an awesome addition. It shows that Jack Smith is not throwing out the interactions. And this is what I wondered about yesterday. This is so great that she brings this up, because I wondered about this very thing. Rico, I have a huge Rico. Carla, I got a Rico boner. Hold on, I just need to take a minute. Oh man. not feeling good. I think I'm just going to get really high all day. Okay. Actually, I have things I got to do. Okay. Okay. This is good. I want to slow down. It shows that Jack Smith is not throwing out the interactions with the vice president because the Supreme Court did concede that someone's title alone doesn't preclude any discussion from being used as evidence. Wait, I'm not sure I get that. Because if that's the case, why are the conversations with Jeffrey Clark excluded? And does that mean all the conversations with DOJ staff or Bill Barr, are those excluded too? I just have a lot of questions about that. Or was it just the Department of Justice that was carved out? I just don't understand that. Okay. Well, maybe I'll learn. The Supreme Court did concede that someone's title alone doesn't preclude any discussion from being used as evidence. I don't remember reading that. Further, Jack Smith notes that Pence was his running mate because he was acting as a candidate for president when he pressured the VP, and that the VP's only other role in this was the ceremonial certification. So we aren't talking about a POTUS and a vice president having discussions. We're talking about a candidate's running mate and the president of the Senate having a chat. No immunity applies to those two types of people. Interesting. The allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 4 of this indictment are realleged. Okay. So all of the core allegations, the conspiracy, Donald did combine, conspire, confederate, and agree with co-conspirators to defraud the United States by using dishonesty, fraud, and deceit. Blah, blah, blah. The purpose of the conspiracy to overturn the legitimate results of the 2020 election. The co-conspirators, enlisted co-conspirators to assist him in his criminal effort. And what was added to that section was none of whom were government officials during the conspiracies and all of whom were acting in a private capacity. Allison says, Jack Smith repeating the fact that all co-conspirators are not subject to any immunity. Now, here we go. Co-conspirator 1, what is added is a private attorney. Also added, whom the defendant put in charge of his campaign's litigation efforts. That's new. And her addition there is more language added about everyone acting in a private capacity in support of the candidate Trump's campaign. Co-conspirator 2 also added the word a private or words a private attorney. So that was added. Co-conspirator 3 has some changes. It also adds the word private to the description of attorney whose unfounded claims of election fraud had originally said the defendant privately acknowledged to others sounded, quote, crazy. Now that language was stricken and it just says fraud the defendant embraced and publicly amplified. And it removes a reference to co-conspirator 3's disinformation as what was amplified. Now, Allison says here, Jack Smith is not going to fight the battle over the immunity of this conversation, and he doesn't need to, so he struck it. Interesting. Given the Supreme Court expressly prohibiting the DOJ part of the conspiracy because of immunity, Jack Smith has omitted Jeff Clark as a co-conspirator, so that struck co-conspirator 4 in the original indictment altogether. Co-conspirator 5 also adds the word private to a description of attorney who assisted in devising and attempting to implement a plan to submit fraudulent slates of electors. And also adding the word private to co-conspirator 6, a private political consultant who helped implement a plan. Looks like the description of the federal government function of the president of the Senate, counting and certifying, etc., is stays the same. Manner and means of the defendant doing his shit looks like that stays the same, except for there's a section removed. Section C in the original indictment, which read, just go to her note. It says, again, Jack Smith drops the DOJ conspiracy because of the Supreme Court's bullshit ruling on immunity, but it's not needed. This indictment could stand on the private acts alone, and a grand jury and the DOJ higher-ups have agreed. Okay, so that was stricken. And the defendant and co-conspirators in Section D attempted to enlist the vice president to use his ceremonial role, and then what was added in the new indictment as president of the Senate, reminding the court that Pence isn't VP for these purposes. He's Trump's running mate and president of the Senate, neither of which enjoy any immunity. That's good. In Section E, also adding that Mike Pence was acting as president of the Senate. And then in Section 11, the defendant's knowledge of the falsity of his election fraud claims. In the next section, the first sentence is changed to include throughout the conspiracies, and then goes on, the defendant, his co-conspirators, and their agents made knowingly false claims that there had been outcome determinative fraud. Then there was a new sentence added. These false claims were unsupported, objectively unreasonable, and ever-changing, and the defendant and co-conspirators repeated them even after they were publicly disproven. I love that sentence. That's a good sentence. And then it looks like a sentence is stricken. At the end of that section, it says, in fact, the defendant was notified repeatedly that his claims were untrue, often by the people on whom he relied for candid advice on important matters and who were best positioned to know the facts. And he deliberately disregarded the truth. That section was stricken from the original indictment. Also stricken, the defendant's vice president, who personally stood to gain by remaining in office as part of the defendant's ticket and whom the defendant asked to study fraud allegations, told the defendant that he had seen no evidence of outcome determinative fraud. So that entire thing is stricken. Also stricken, the senior leaders of the Justice Department appointed by the defendant and responsible for investigating told the defendant on multiple occasions that various allegations were unsupported. That's been stricken. The Director of National Intelligence, the defendant's principal advisor on intelligence matters related to national security, disabused the defendant of the notion that the intelligence community's findings regarding foreign interference would change the outcome of the election. That has been stricken. Oh my God. The Department of, this is the answer then. The Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity, and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, whose existence the defendant signed into law to protect the nation's cybersecurity infrastructure from attack, joined an official multi-agency statement that there was no evidence of any voting system had been compromised and that declared the 2020 election the most secure in American history. Days later, after the CISA director, whom the defendant had appointed, announced publicly that the election security experts were in agreement that claims of computer-based election fraud were unsubstantiated, the defendant fired him. That has been stricken. Senior White House attorneys selected by the defendant to provide him candid advice informed the defendant that there was no evidence of outcome determinative election fraud and told him that his presidency would end on Inauguration Day in 2021. That was stricken. Senior staffers on the defendant's 2020 re-election campaign, defendant's campaign, whose sole mission was the defendant's re-election, told the defendant on November 7th, 2020, that he only had a 5 to 10% chance of prevailing in the election and that success was contingent on the defendant's winning ongoing vote counts or litigation in Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin. Within a week of that assessment, the defendant lost in Arizona, meaning he had lost the election. That has been stricken. Also stricken, state legislators and officials, many of whom were the defendant's political allies, had voted for him and wanted him to be reelected, repeatedly informed the defendant that his claims of fraud in their states were unsubstantiated or false and resisted his pressure to act based upon them. Stricken. Also stricken, state and federal courts, the neutral arbiters responsible for ensuring the fair and even-handed administration of election laws, rejected every outcome determinative post-election lawsuit filed by the defendant, his co-conspirators, and allies, providing the defendant real-time notice that his allegations were meritless. That was stricken. Looks like and this is what Allison says, looks like Jack Smith is removing a bunch of conversations with government officials that could be construed as official acts. So he added this paragraph about how he intends to prove that Trump knew that his election fraud claims were lies. The defendant was on notice that his claims were untrue. He was told so by those most invested in his reelection, including his own running mate and his campaign staff. Hi, Kim. How are you? Really good to see you. Welcome. Nice of you to come in for Lee. He was told so by those most invested in his reelection, including his own running mate and his campaign staff. Federal and state courts rejected every outcome determinative post-election lawsuit filed by the defendant, co-conspirators, and their allies. State officials, including election directors and secretaries of state in his own political party, issued public statements dispelling the defendants' and co-conspirators' myth of widespread election fraud. And on November 12th, the National Association of Secretaries of State, the National Association of State Election Directors, and other organizations issued a statement on behalf of several coordinated entities declaring the 2020 election to be the most secure in American history, and that there was no evidence that any voting system deleted or lost votes, changed votes, or was in any way compromised. Yeah, good to see you. You're always welcome. There's always a seat saved for you, Kim. The defendant, these sections have been, well, actually, there's quite a few sections that were deleted. And they are all regarding, let's see, it goes specifically about the claims that were made in each state. So those paragraphs have been deleted, and apparently, according to Allison, in lieu of that, Jack Smith added the following paragraphs. I know. Yeah, we read the whole indictment, the new indictment yesterday, but this is Mueller, she wrote. She had a nice side-by-side where she goes over what was removed, and I thought that might be interesting. So I appreciate her work on that. What he added in lieu of all of the description of the different claims of irregularities or fraud or whatever nonsense. The defendant continued to make false claims nonetheless, with deliberate disregard for the truth, including through his Twitter account. Throughout the conspiracies, although the defendant sometimes used his Twitter account to communicate with the public as president about official actions and policies, he also regularly used it for personal purposes, including to spread knowingly false claims of election fraud, exhort his supporters to travel to Washington, D.C. on January 6, pressure the vice president to misuse his ceremonial role in the certification proceeding, and leverage the events at the Capitol on January 6 to unlawfully retain power. Allison says here Jack Smith is drawing the difference between the tweets he sent out as president and the tweets he sent out that were personal and would not be subject to presidential immunity. I imagine this is something Donald will appeal to the Supreme Court, which of course would be interlocutory. New paragraph added, the defendant continued his lies through the day of certification, proceeding on January 6. That morning, the defendant gave a campaign speech at a privately funded, privately organized political rally held on the Ellipse in Washington, D.C. During the speech, the defendant used many of the same unsupported, objectively unreasonable, and publicly disproven lies to exhort the gathered crowd to march to the Capitol. Under the section, the criminal agreement and acts to affect the object of the conspiracy, added sentence, to affect the object of the conspiracy, the defendant and co-conspirators committed one or more of the acts set forth below. And he goes ahead, that language appears to be the same. There's an added line to the first section. The defendant had no official responsibilities related to any state certification of the election results. I noticed this line too. And Allison says, glad he added this. I've been screaming ever since Judge Pryor, super conservative chief of the 11th Circuit and good friend of Clarence Thomas, ruled that Meadows' case could not be moved to federal court because it's no one's job in the federal government to meddle in a state's election. Trump argues that the Take Care Clause gives him the authority to take care that state election laws are followed, but it doesn't. And the Supreme Court in the immunity ruling said they weren't going to weigh in since they weren't briefed and that Judge Chutkan should decide. Oh, interesting. So then the sections on the particular actions in each state. Let's see if there's anything different. They go through Arizona. That looks to be much the same. It looks like the last one under Arizona in his campaign speech, which on January 6th, defendant publicly repeated the knowingly false claim that 36,000 non-citizens had voted in Arizona. And the in his campaign speech part was added. And Allison says, again, Donald was acting as a candidate for president, not as president. Remember when Mo Brooks wanted the DOJ to represent him in a lawsuit filed against him for stuff he said in his January 6th speech, and the DOJ said no because you were campaigning and not acting within the scope of your job? And even if the court says you weren't campaigning, inciting an insurrection can never be part of anyone's government job. Yeah, that was awesome, and the court agreed. In the Georgia section, there's an addition in the beginning. So apparently this line appeared in the original indictment, but Jack Smith moved it up to the top of the Georgia section. As early as mid-November, the defendant's senior campaign advisor informed the defendant that his claims of a large number of dead voters in Georgia was untrue. So that claim was pushed to the top. Some language in the Georgia piece was removed about the defendant did this despite the fact that when he had discussed co-conspirator 3's far-fetched public claims regarding voting machine company in private, the defendant had conceded they were unsupported. Let's see. So she says this is a conversation stricken earlier in the indictment as well, not needed, and could be subject to immunity. Wow. It's amazing. Other sections look like they're the same on Georgia. It looks like one piece is added. On December 8th, the defendant called the Georgia attorney to pressure him to support an election lawsuit filed in the Supreme Court by another state's attorney general. So what was added to that section was the following day, represented by co-conspirator 2, the defendant, not as president, but in his capacity as candidate for office, moved to intervene and join the state attorney general's lawsuit, and on December 11th denied his suit. Allison says, yes, I know you've heard me talk about how Trump was acting as a candidate and is therefore not immune, and that Trump himself said he was acting in his capacity as a candidate when he intervened in this election lawsuit. So I'm glad Jack Smith brought this up. Excellent. Let's see. So it looks like section 25. So that's the line that was moved to the top of the Georgia section. Okay, that's fine. That looks like it's the same. Looks like they removed all the conversations with DOJ are immune, so that's been stricken. Probably, yep. All the meetings, conversations with Meadows, Rosen, and Donahue are all immune. Wow. That's crazy. Also added in this is, again, a little reminder that he's acting as a candidate, not as the actual president. Co-conspirator. The defendant and co-conspirator 2 caused the defendant signed verification to be filed nonetheless. Allison says, this is Eastman, by the way, and the reason we don't need that list of probably immune conversations between Trump and federal employees to prove that Donald knew the election fraud claims were false, because John Eastman wrote it down in an email. And Jack Smith got those way before the 1-6 committee did. Oopsie poopsie. Let's see. Looks like that much is probably the same. Same in Georgia. Do. Again, just a few sprinklings here and there of reminding the court that he was acting as a candidate and not as president. So Michigan, moving on to Michigan, they struck a section about Detroit and the claim that was made about Detroit, and then added on November 20th, after outreach by the chairwoman of the RNC. That's interesting. The defendant included in the meeting by phone the RNC chairwoman who joined briefly and co-conspirator 1. In the meeting, the defendant and co-conspirator 1 raised his false claim in response. Okay, interesting. So that was adding the part about Rana being there. Then there's more removal of actual claims about Michigan or conversations that are about that could be subject to immunity. And that is the same. Michigan, still the same. And then Allison at the end of that section says it's so important to put a fine point on the fact that he knowingly used election lies to defraud the U.S., obstruct certification, and taking away our rights to vote and have our votes counted. It's so true. It's disenfranchisement. That's the point. Ay, ay, ay. Looks like Pennsylvania's up next. They had some specific conversations with DOJ are immune, so there was some striking there. Pretty normal. Wisconsin struck the conversations with the DOJ. Campaign. Added a line, the defendant had no official responsibilities related to the convening of legitimate electors or their signing and mailing of their certificates of vote. And she says, so important to add that none of this part of the conspiracy can be considered immune because the president doesn't have anything to do with elections. And SCOTUS didn't weigh in on this argument in the immunity ruling. SCOTUS. I keep remembering we have that SCOTUS. All right, so all the same stuff. Co-conspirator 5 is Cheese Bro. Okay. Right. Gal told me that yesterday too. All right, let's see here. All the same, same. Wisconsin. It's a lot of cheese in Wisconsin and beer. La 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 la. Any conversations with the DOJ, those are all removed. All the meetings at the White House. Oh my God. Look at all this shit they removed. I am so... I don't know. I mean, part of me kind of understands it. So she... And there you have it. One of the most insidious conspiracies of this whole mess has been completely stricken from the charges because the corrupt Supreme Court had granted Trump the immunity of kings. I'm never going to get over that, but all 4 charges and the rest of the indictment remain. Yikes. So this section had some changes, had some new language. As the January 6th congressional certification proceeding approached and other efforts to impair, obstruct, and defeat the federal government function failed, the defendant sought to enlist the vice president in the plan, is added, to use his role, ceremonial has been stricken, as president of the Senate, added, to fraudulently alter the election results. This is added. The defendant had no official responsibilities related to the certification proceeding, but he did have a personal interest as a candidate in being named the winner of the election. All of the conversations between the defendant and the vice president described below focused on the defendant maintaining power. And so that was added, and it replaced this sentence. The defendant did this first by using knowingly false claims of election fraud to convince the vice president to accept blah, blah, blah. When his efforts to use the vice president's role as president of the Senate is added, failed, blah, blah, blah. Allison says, it's clear here that Jack Smith is making sure that we know that Donald, the candidate, pressured Pence, the president of the Senate, and that all their conversations were central to that and therefore not subject to immunity. That makes sense to me. Oh, is it buffering? Shoot. Am I still there? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm almost done. Let's see. Same. Some information. Okay. In the memorandum, co-conspirator 2 claimed that 7 states had transmitted 2 slates of electors and proposed that the vice president announce because of the ongoing disputes in the 7 states, there are no electors. That was stricken. Oh, okay. So she has the same question. Wow, I'm feeling really smart this morning. Because she says, I'm unsure why he struck this language. I'm unsure of that too. So let me read. The language he struck again was, so it's talking about the 2-page memorandum outlining a plan for the VP to unlawfully declare the defendant the certified winner. In the memorandum, this is what's been struck. In the memorandum, co-conspirator 2 claimed that 7 states had transmitted 2 slates of electors. No. Here too, more buffering than words. Really? Poopy scoop. Why? Why? Why is it doing this to me? Hold on. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? I think I am buffering. Testing, testing. Testing. It's like 20 seconds behind. Or no, maybe like 4. Maybe 5. Yeah. More like 5. But I'm okay. I think. Okay. Oops. I'm going to go ahead. Oops. Shit. Damn it. Why can't I turn this down? What the fuck? Ah! Okay. I give up. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Anyway, this is what he struck. In the memorandum, co-conspirator 2 claimed that 7 states had transmitted 2 slates of electors and proposed that the VP announce that because of the ongoing disputes in the 7 states, there are no electors that can be deemed validly appointed in those states. Next, co-conspirator 2 proposed that steps that he acknowledged violated the ECA, advocating that in the end, Pence then gavels President Trump as reelected. I wonder if, this is just my crazy thinking, I wonder if it is that Eastman is cooperating. I don't know. I just wonder if that's why you would remove that section, if he's cooperating or something. I don't know. This is me just being like silly, I think. But anyway. Again, took out some language that was repetitive and or about conversations that were protected. This also, not sure why this language changed much, maybe just for word economy. Okay, so quite a bit of one section was removed. Starts with, on January 4th, the defendant held a meeting with co-conspirator 2, the vice president and the vice president's chief of staff and the vice president's counsel. And they removed this section for the purpose of convincing the vice president, based on the defendant's knowingly false claims of election fraud, that the vice president should reject or send the slates of the state's Biden's legitimate electoral votes rather than count them, or reject or send to the states. God damn. The defendant deliberately excluded his White House counsel from the meeting because the White House counsel previously had pushed back on the defendant's false claims of election fraud. So all of that was removed and replaced with the defendant's White House counsel did not attend. I kind of wonder about that. Let's see. There's some language removed. Also, bottom line, we won every state by hundreds of thousands of votes. We won every state. The part that was removed follows that and asked regarding a claim his senior Justice Department officials previously had told him. Okay, so it just strikes language about conversations or claims. Could be a battle for immunity over this conversation as an official act. It's not, but if it's not needed, why risk it? So because what they did was remove a section or a line that says, after that conversation, the conversation between co-conspirator 2 and a defendant's senior advisor. So Eastman and whoever the senior advisor was. After that conversation, the senior advisor notified the defendant that co-conspirator 2 had conceded that his plan was not going to work. So, I feel like this is actually not even necessarily a battle for immunity, but I just wonder if Eastman's cooperating. Feels like something that would happen. All right, this is the same. All it is the same. And then one of the last ones. This one was totally removed. As crowds began to gather in Washington and were audible from the Oval Office, the defendant remarked to advisors that the crowd following the following day on January 6th was going to be, quote, angry. And Allison says unnecessary and ripe for an immunity battle because he's talking to advisors in the Oval. Again, Jack Smith could leave it in and fight the fight, but it could really add a lot of appeals to this case that he's long tried to streamline. Yeah, that makes sense. Most of the rest is the same. Yes, it's all still the same. Position as president of the Senate. New line added near the end. The defendant specifically referenced the process by which electoral votes are counted during the proceeding, including by stating, quote, "We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. This parenthetically, she says, I think this strengthens the idea that the narrower SCOTUS interpretation of Fisher applies because Donald knew that his certificates were false and that the real votes were in the Capitol." That's a good one. That's a hidden gem at the end. And then this here, in the face of a narrow reading of 1512, Section C, Paragraph 2, in that it must include documents, Jack Smith adds this tidbit about the documents at issue. Oh, this is why. Okay, because this language was added. On the floor of the House of Representatives, the Vice President, in his role as President of the Senate, began the certification proceeding. At approximately 1:11 p.m., the VP opened the certificates of vote and certificates of ascertainment that the legitimate electors for the state of Arizona had mailed to Washington, consistent with the ECO. After a congressman and senator lodged an objection to Arizona's certificates, the House and the Senate retired to their separate chambers to debate the objection. Oh, getting those documents in there. And then another added language. She says, I'm not sure why this language was added other than to show that he was on Twitter and failing to do anything to stop the insurrection. Because of what was added was, beginning around 1:30, the defendant, who had returned to the White House after concluding his remarks, settled into the dining room off the Oval Office. He spent much of the afternoon reviewing Twitter on his phone while the television in the dining room showed the live events at the Capitol. Another addition, at 2:13 p.m., after more than an hour of steady violent advancement, the crowd at the Capitol broke into the building, added here new language, and forced the Senate to recess. At approximately 2:20 p.m., the official proceeding having been interrupted, staffers evacuating from the Senate carried with them the legitimate elector certificates of vote and their governor's certificates of ascertainment. The House was also forced to recess. Allison says, really crossing those T's and dotting those I's here on the Supreme Court's new reading of 1512, making sure the courts know that there were certificates and documents here and that they were successfully shut down. Removed another section, conversations between POTUS and White House advisors are immune. Let's see. Interesting. Okay, so at 2:24 p.m., and then removed from that sentence was after advisors had left the defendant alone in his dining room. They add the defendant personally without assistance, and that is parenthetically not officially, issued a tweet to further delay and obstruct the certification. So they're showing that, he's doing it not in his role as president, but in his own personal kind of bullshit. Let's see. They remove all of the interactions with him and other people in the White House, and his tweets. Yep, they're removing all the conversations or anything that could be, all those tweets and videos could be considered official acts under the immunity ruling. So all of that has been removed. Wow. Some additional language. On the evening of January 6th, the defendant and co-conspirator 1 attempted to exploit the violence and chaos at the Capitol by calling lawmakers to convince them, based on knowingly false claims of election fraud, to delay the certification, and this is the new part, to delay the certification proceeding in which the defendant had no official role, noting that these were documents. There were documents there by repeating certification proceeding and that Donald had no official role, so nothing associated with it can be considered an official act. Unfortunately, this is likely immune. The defendant, through White House aides, attempted to reach 2 United States senators at 6 p.m. Unfortunately, likely immune, which probably lowers the chances of seeing any members of Congress get indicted. What? What? That is just maddening. Maddening. Oh, hi, Trader. Another thing removed. Meadows' phone call with POTUS stricken here for immunity reasons. Again, whether this would ultimately be considered immune isn't the point. If it's not needed and it's a possible target, it's best to drop it. So that's referring to that removal. Some more removal of just like clean up. Everybody, every day. Okay. Thanks to everyone for reading. This one took me all day. Oh, thank you, Mueller, she wrote. We really appreciate your analysis of that document. We sure do. You're the greatest. You're the greatest and the bestest in the world. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna get rid of this stupid stuff. Yeah, yeah, where's my camp? Oh, there it is. There it is. Uh-oh. Hello, Trader Todd. Nah. Well, I hope it's not buffering. I hope it's not buffering too badly. One of these things is not like the other. Some things are not the same. So that was the differences in the indictments. I think it's time. Time for a little more weed. Little more. Oh, hi, Grace. How are you? I didn't even see you come in. Oh, you know what? I'm on the wrong chat. God damn. I'm so silly. Oh, that's better. Hello. Hello, it's me. Hello, it's me. What? Small chronic break? We're taking a moment of silence for this small chronic break. Oh, you're gonna get a puppy? Well, it's not a chronic break. It's just we finished reading the document. That's all. That's all this is. They also changed the dates, I noticed, they increased the dates. I know, that's exciting, Grace. I'm glad. Good for you. Good for you. Hello, it's me. You. Ow. Wake and bake and wake, bake. Wake and bake all day. Yep, it's Thursday. It's Thursday in the morning. Grace is gonna get a puppy. Jack Smith is seeking justice. And let's see what else. I don't know. I got nothing. Anyway, what a good wake and bake this was. Except for the buffering. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do about it. I'm not sure what to do about it. Oh, I just got smoke in my eyes. What's that song? Smoke gets in your eyes. Smoke gets in your eyes. All right, kids, it's an hour and a half and it's time to go. It's time to get started with your day. Get started with your day. So I hope you have a good day. I hope I see you tomorrow morning. And then don't forget, Saturday night is the lounge. Bye. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow morning, and I might see you tonight if I might do some gaming. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a couple new games I'd like to try. They're kind of scary, but if you're up for it, I might do some gaming later on. Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you later. Okay, everybody, have a really great day. No, I really do hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. And I'm sorry about the buffering. That's a pain in the ass, and I hope I can fix it. I'll do what I can to fix it. But I really appreciate you coming, and welcome to everyone who's new. Welcome to Lolo's Lounge. And I will see you guys later. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. What do you mean? See you tomorrow morning, bright and early.